Oh yeah, no, the Gooner economy is real. It crashed
Oh my god.
because Twitter was like one of the biggest points of like advertisement that most people had. And then once all the tech bros that own these websites swung far right wing, we got
Man, I didn't know about any of that stuff.
Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. Like, oh, don't even get me started on Reddit.
Cutiespectives is presented ad-free thanks to the support of viewers like you. Hello everyone, welcome back to Cutiespectives, sharing the perspectives of people all throughout the LGBT spectrum. I'm Jasmine Page, and today I'm welcoming another very special guest to the show, adult model Sora Blackheart. Thank you so much, Sora, for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, of course, of course. It's like a really pleasure to like have you on the show and everything. I know this is very last minute.
That's okay. It's like a week's notice. It's good enough.
Well, why don't we just start off with like a few icebreakers? Why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself? You know, tell us who you are and what you do.
I'm Sora Blackheart. I guess I would say I do adult modeling and I play a lot of video games and make men cry. Mostly at the video games. I'm better than them.
Oh, heck yeah. All right, well, in your particular field, adult modeling in particular, what has been your experience with the LGBT community?
There is, I would say, a lot of clout chasing in that area. A lot of climbing on top of each other, a lot of usury, a lot of bad actors, and like, I don't know, a lot of hot girls.
So you say there was like a lot of infighting in kind of like the modern day adult content creation.
Oh, constantly. People hate each other.
Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, it just goes in and out. I guess it kind of goes with the business. Like, I don't think like boundaries are always respected in like, you know, different shoots. I've heard a lot of stories about a lot of different people doing a lot of things that weren't so great to each other. And whether or not it's on purpose is kind of like sometimes up in the air. Other times it's pretty clear cut because there's like a pattern of behavior with certain performers. But you know, apparently they're still around, some of them. But yeah, it's I think with anything like that, you would end up with the Dan Schneiders, you know, of the whole thing. And since that's the topic, you know, of you know, Dan Schneider is a I guess a sexual predator at Nickelodeon. You would end up with more sexual predators in that industry because of, you know, the content being made. It just kind of attracts bad people sometimes. But other times it attracts really good people that just want to make content, that just want to make money, that just want to actually, you know, produce something that people can, you know, jerk it to.
Right. We do celebrate like the good people that from these spaces, and unfortunately, like a lot of times I mean, it's not even just in adult content creation. I think it's like just creative endeavors in general. We have like bad actors and everything that kind of ruin it and spoil the fun for a lot of people who just want to jerk it, as you put it.
I mean, that's the point, you know, making money to get people off and then they can, you know, move on with their lives after their self-pleasure.
Right. So in this adult content space, how do you feel that the LGBT community is represented?
It's very there. And it's something that the community at large, the LGBTQ plus community, has had to resort to. So there are a lot of LGBT people doing it. In fact, I think I would say there's more bisexual people that are involved in the production than anything else. Considering how you know, what you have to do for the production. Like, you know, and a lot of times you have to do scenes with, you know, different gendered people. Personally, I only do scenes with women, and I've only ever done anything with one partner. I've had a couple other things lined up that kind of fell through for one reason or another, but it was always with women.
Right. So you mentioned that a lot of LGBT people are in adult content creation. Why LGBT people? Why such a big population? Why are they drawn to that?
It's not so much that they're drawn to it, it's more that they're pushed to it because the society at large doesn't like gay people, and the current administration is no pedestrian to that, given all the anti-trans laws being passed. or trying to be passed, all the bills trying to be forced through,
Mm.
all the people running on anti-trans sentiment, all those people ran on anti-gay sentiment and LGBT sentiment, like what, 15 years ago during the Obama like
Right.
then during the Bush era, it was even worse. So us being the fringe of society at that point because of the heteronormacy that we experience every day and in all of our media practically, we end up getting pushed out of normal work because of how it might look on the company. So we end up in porn.
Right. We will talk about that a little bit more later. I just wanted to know your opinion. What are your thoughts on like the LGBT community as a whole outside of like the pornographic space?
It's thriving, in all honesty. Like, even with all the hardship, it feels like since it's more accepted, in people that haven't been brainwashed into a cult. I think most people accept us because like we're not hurting you, so why are you trying to hurt us? They
Right.
don't care. Most people don't care until it fucks with your money. People don't care, and that's kind of how it should be. I was just saying, I think the LGBTQ community is actually doing pretty well right now, despite the hardships. There's a lot of spaces that are inclusive. There's a lot of places to go. It's very able to be out in the open. The vitriol still exists. I don't think it ever won't exist, at least for another 100 years, until people get over it and then they find something else to hate on. Probably like, I don't know, cybernetic enhancements if we ever get that far before we melt ourselves somehow.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone's going to like push the finger to whatever the minority is, and a lot of hate groups are kind of founded on that mentality. But let's go and talk about like your personal experience with adult modeling. How did you end up in the adult modeling sphere?
It's kind of interesting. I feel like I kind of got pushed into it. So I was streaming on Twitch before I transitioned, and there were a lot of people that were joking about me cross-dressing. And then on top of that, like wanted content of me in it. And a lot of it was, I feel like, harmless jokes because, aha, so funny. Oh, she's a trap. It's not really like a girl. And then it was like, I think I cosplayed one time and I was like, wait, there's something to this. And then COVID hit and I was in lockdown. Obviously, everyone's in lockdown and I had to face myself. And one night I was like, I don't really vibe with this gender thing. Like I don't vibe with being a guy, and that began my journey. And the longer I was transitioning, the more like people kind of like wanted that from me. So I ended up coming by it from the demand itself. And the money is honestly better than streaming on Twitch if, you're doing more with it or more people want it, and you're able to monetize better off of it. So I kind of stopped streaming and I just ended up doing that full time. I wasn't coerced into it really. I wasn't really forced into it. I was just like, people would talk to me about it and it was like literally, hey, there's money on the table. Do you want it? And so I took it and ran.
Right. So this was never like a path for you in particular. It was just like you saw the potential for monetary gain and you kind of went for it, right?
Yeah, and like I mean, obviously it's a path without having to go to like do retail or anything. And for a while the money was pretty good, but right now it's kind of hard. Just cuz people don't have a lot of cash to just throw around. Things have gotten pretty expensive. There's been several different wars on top of that pandemic that I mentioned before, and it's just made things a lot more expensive, especially right now.
The market's kind of like oversaturated with like a lot of individuals right now.
Oh yeah, and that's another factor. Like since the pandemic lasted as long as it did, like other people found their way into that, probably either similarly to how I did, or they just realized, well, this was always our last resort, so I guess I'm gonna do it. And yeah, there's a lot there's just so much content. It's like it's hard to keep up with, and it's
Mm.
hard to like get ahead of like everybody else that's doing it on top of the people that are already well more established. I feel like there was a big cutoff even before I started doing it, because I think people were doing it before that and they got a following before that, and people tend to follow what already has a following
Yeah.
because they want to consume what's popular. It's like the whole FOMO thing.
And there's like a big reason why like so many people, so many consumers tend to gravitate towards this greater adult content creation. Because one of the major factors in this industry today is the ability for consumers to make a direct connection with the models they contribute to. Can you
Mhm.
describe the sort of parasocial nature of modern day adult modeling?
You basically have to become an influencer to get anywhere in it. And there's a huge parasociality that comes with influencing and showing off your life and showing off your beauty routines. Like a lot of people really just like crave to know somebody without actually having the overarching responsibility of being their friend or knowing them
Mm.
like any kind of on a deeper level than like, oh, I follow you online. But there's also kind of the fantasy there and like the mystique of like, oh, I get to meet this person, I get to know them. So like I think that's part of the allure, but there's a huge problem with that. In the current market, there's a lot of people that use chatters. There's a lot of
Mm.
people that actually use AI, Amaranth being one of them. She like programmed her own LLM to like, or trained her own LLM to be able to respond to her chatters as if it's really her. Um, and like they're making a lot of money, but they're kind of ripping people off because they're creating this parasociality and then they're not even actually involved with the content itself besides like the pictures of the videos that they make. But like all the stuff that like the most money you make is like with chats with people that want to get to know you, that want direct content from you. But when you're using chatters or AI, like, I mean, those people are missing out. They're not getting the full you, and you're being sold a lie. But I mean, we're talking about gooners here, so like, their brain's not really there for that. They don't actually care. If you're giving them what they think they want, then you're gonna get your bag.
Right. I mean, there is that like sort of selling of false hope that that aspect brings to those people, because the parasociality is like one of the driving factors to consumers of this medium, and for them to completely dissipate that with like the use of AI and chatbots and everything like that,
Hmm.
that's just not true to your audience.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Yeah.
if like that stuff kind of comes out, and I'm sure it has come out, like, right?
Oh, yeah, no, like, okay, so every, like, big creator that is out there with, like, over probably, like, 100 subs is using chatbots
Wow.
or not even chatbots, like, chatters that don't even live in this country. They live somewhere in, like, Malaysia or India, and they're paying them pennies on the fucking dollar.
Oh my god, I had no idea about that.
Yeah, but, like, I mean, the thing is the American dollar goes so far that they can get away with it because those people are actually getting a living.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
I mean,
Oh,
it
yeah,
kind of
no,
makes sense if like
I'll
you
tell
have
it
the
all. I don't care
tools.
about these bitches.
If you have the tools, like there's obviously people who are going to be using them for their advantage, and but it's just like that's unfortunate. I'm not a consumer of this kind of content, but like I would be like livid if I found that out.
Yeah.
But for you, personally, and like pursuing this, I know that like this wasn't like your path in life, but certain models who do this kind of adult content creation, they find it empowering. It's a way to
Oh,
like
yeah.
make money. It's a way to like express yourself. Do you find the work that you do to be empowering?
To me, personally, yeah. Um, it's it's very euphoric in a way to
Hmm.
be seen and treated as a woman for someone that, transitioned to get here. Also, like, I mean, I make my own schedule, I make my own hours, like, I work pretty much when I want outside of, like, the schedule that I have set for myself, and, like, it it works out, it's comfortable, but, like, you do have to do a lot of work if you wanna make good money to be able to survive. Like, I personally, like, have a lot of, support, like, behind the scenes, in that, like, I have been able to afford this entire, like, Gooner economy crash because it was definitely a bubble for a while. Oh, yeah, no, the Gooner economy is real, and it was a fucking
Oh,
bubble. It crashed. It crashed super fucking hard after Trump took office.
oh my
Like, it wasn't even
god.
after Trump took office. Once Elon took over Twitter, that was it. Because Twitter was like one of the biggest points of like advertisement that most people had. And then once all the tech bros that own these websites swung fucking far right wing, we got Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. Like, oh, don't even get me started on Reddit. Agencies basically run every fucking board on there, and they put all of their models to the top.
Wow. Man, I didn't know
Yeah.
about any of that stuff. That's just fascinating to me. I wish I had more questions about that particular aspect, but I'm not versed in it at all. Can you like describe to me like the kind of like um I guess Gooner economy? Like what exactly is that? Like for those who don't know, including myself.
So the Gooner economy would be people that are consumers of porn and who consumes porn more than people that are actually either literally addicted to it or aren't getting the sexual gratification out of whatever situation that they're in. I talk to a lot of married men.
Hmm.
A lot of girls talk to a lot of married men. Some guys talk to married men, and it's stuff that they're not allowed to explore with their wives.
Right.
So, and those tech guys tend to swing conservative too. Um, there's been like a lot of pushback against porn in and of itself in our country with the ID verification, and then these
Hmm.
people like, I don't want to give my ID to a company or an ISP so that I can go on these websites because God forbid it gets leaked and then everybody finds out about my shit and my reputation gets ruined because they think I'm a gooner and I'm a degenerate because they can't find out I'm a Christian.
Right. That it's like the that one person, the husband of what's her name? So,
Christy Gnome.
yes, Christy No.
Yeah. Oh
Her
yeah, with the
husband.
big ass titties, dude. Oh man, there's so many of those.
The
There's
bimbofication.
so
That's
fucking many of those.
yeah, that was crazy news. But like it is like really like unfortunate that that stuff is happening because you are like kind of providing a service to these individuals and these companies are making it harder for you to provide service. But the porn industry has
Yeah.
always been looked down on like throughout its history. Like sex
Yeah.
work in general has always been looked down on. Like
There's a good reason for that.
there's a good reason.
Like, so it's not really the sex workers that people specifically look down on. It's the overarching way that we're able to make money.
Hmm.
So OnlyFans did a pretty cool thing, like, and all the fan sites did a really cool thing wherein that like it gave power back to the models themselves. Um it took power away from the pimps. It took power away from people that were predating, like managers that were doing completely predatory practices on their models and taking most of their income. And then in comes agencies, and they do the exact same thing. They're basically pimps.
Right.
And it took a lot of people off the street in general. Because like, oh, if I can do this from the comfort of my own home and I don't have to touch anybody, then it's like, of course I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna fucking put my whole back into it. I personally, I've never done in-person sex work, and I'm blessed for that. TBH, like, I can't say the same for a lot of the people I know. They've had to resort to it, and even people that like don't have like or do OnlyFans currently, like I know a lot of people that have done in-person sex work, and it's terrifying.
Right.
So I mean, like, it was kind of a good thing, until it became not such a good thing because other people, i.e., the people that would abuse us, found a way in order to take advantage of us, like production companies and the agencies that I mentioned before. There's a lot of that, and it's completely rampant, like every single one.
Jeez. I know this wasn't an avenue that you wanted to explore yourself, but do you see yourself, do you tend to continue to pursue adult modeling?
Currently, yeah. I mean, I like the aspect of putting myself out there and garnering the attention that I do. It feels good. I like the attention, even though it's harder to get because these tech companies actually like shadow ban us and hide our content consistently. Like Meta fucking hates us. Instagram fucking hates us.
Right.
Elon Musk fucking hates us. Like he manipulates his own algorithms so that like everything that he likes goes to the top, and then like if you mostly talk shit on him, then you get sunk to the bottom, and it's hard to not talk shit on him because like our
Right.
identities are all completely political. Like they made this political.
I do know that like freedom of speech is really like being threatened with this kind of behavior, and these are the people who tried to paint that themselves were uh for freedom of speech, but they're
Yeah.
really doing the opposite. They're suppressing individuals like this, and it's not a good light. And the people who do see it can't really say anything about it because either a threat of
They'll
like
get suppressed.
being suppressed or like that, yeah, or like
Yeah.
them just like completely not having their voices heard, and that
You get
sucks.
silenced.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So let's move on to like a different perspective. We'll get back to some of the online content creation later on, but I wanted
Okay.
to talk about like, you have this gothic aesthetic, you are in alternative spaces and everything. A topic that I
Mhm.
frequently explore with my guests is the LGBT's presence in alternative communities, as well as many queer people who I've met in my lifetime. What attracted
Mhm.
you to adopting this aesthetic?
I always liked it. It's always been something that I've wanted to do. And
Hmm.
I didn't feel like I was able to explore it until I was able to actually like explore myself. And that had a lot to do with the insecurity of society and trying to fit into what I thought I was supposed to be.
Hmm.
Which, led me to transitioning. But I I've always thought goth girls were so fucking cool and so fucking hot, and I've always wanted to be one of them, and,
Aw.
like, now I got the chance to, so I do it.
Heck yeah.
The other side is that, like, the aesthetic itself it's not just an aesthetic, it's literally, like, an entire identity, and you kinda have to stand for something to do it, because it is alternative, and alternative means going against the status quo and going against what society tells you is right when it's completely wrong, and embodying who you are, not who they tell you to be. And so that's what I really like about it. What I have noticed is that there's this really weird, and I think it's a fucking psyop, push of conservative people who are trying to invade the space and
Aw.
co-opt the aesthetic and say, "You don't have to be left wing to be a goth." And like, I actually saw one earlier today, but I think she's just rage baiting because like the rest of her content, which had nothing to do with that, was completely flopping. She wasn't getting anywhere. So, I
Hmm.
mean, how else do you get clicks other than rage baiting and grifting?
Right. Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of grifters within alternative spaces on the rise because they are getting a little more mainstream. But in your
Yeah.
opinion, why do you think there are so many queer individuals within alternative subcultures?
It kinda goes back to what I was, talking about before, just about LGBTQ plus, like, people in general, is that we're pushed to the fringe, so we kind of end up aligning with something that's already on the fringe, so you see a lot of queer people in goth spaces and just queer people in general being goth. In
Right.
fact, I don't know if I've ever met any straight goths, so or alt people. I don't think there's any straight goth people or alt people in general. Like, I think we're all a little gay.
Yeah, true alternative individuals, especially like I went on the emo cruise not too long ago. All the
Emo cruise. That looks
Yeah,
really
yeah, it was
cool.
awesome.
Free razor blades in your gift bag.
No, we got eyeliner and stuff in our gift bags. It was
Oh, that's
cool.
sick.
Yeah,
That's
but
sick.
all the performers there, everyone like on the ship pretty much, they're all like
Mhm.
LGBT, you know, the Used was like the big frontlining band and he's been openly
Oh, that's awesome.
like that and everything.
Bisexual.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those individuals who identify under the LGBT umbrella, us included, have made a conscious effort in seeking self actualization to the point of defying the deemed societal norm, as you were putting it earlier. To the same extent, in my opinion, countercultural mediums tend to defy those implied normalcies as well. Not only that, but they are often safe spaces and accepting of individuals to be who they are. This is not to refute others who are not into alternative spaces. There are plenty of LGBT people who are into like sports and normie subcultures.
Oh yeah.
Although there is often pushback from narrow-minded oppressors, as you mentioned, individuals like going into like goth subcultures and trying to take it as their own. But do you see a theoretical future where LGBT individuals are completely assimilated in the whole of society while still managing to authentically express themselves?
I think so. Because the majority of people actually like really don't give a shit. It's just a culture war talking point. It's just more like Christian evangelical control that they're trying to extend over society because the Crusades never really ended.
Right.
They're still out here. They crusading. But no, it's inevitable. It's completely inevitable. All the pushback we see from the hyper conservatives has been called an extinction burst, where they know their time is up. They know that like they're not going to be the mainstream anymore. They know they're not going to be the status quo, and they're very angry about it, which is why um they frame it as we're coming after the nuclear family. We're coming after your ability to drink beer and go fishing and ride in your truck, which is why that guy wrote that stupid fucking song. He just wants to kiss his fish and drive his beer.
Oh my god. Yeah, there's a lot of like pushback with that. Like especially like I watched a video recently with talking about Iceland and the religious community there. And they
Oh wait, I was thinking. Never mind.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Um,
I was like, because the fucking Trump wants to fucking overtake Greenland, and it's just like,
oh, that
dude,
is
get the
Greenland,
fuck outta
yeah.
here.
I get those two confused
Yeah,
too.
I got the two mixed up.
Everyone
So you
does.
said Iceland, and I
Vikings did.
giggled.
Vikings did back in the day. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, this place is green. This means there's gonna be green everywhere. And it's like icy. It's like, oh. But no, Iceland. I watched this video on Iceland recently, and it has like the biggest population of atheists. Even though it was founded as a Lutheran Christian or something like that. And
Okay.
there is still like a big population of religious individuals there, but there's people of all religions there. And having something like that, having a country to like kind of showcase that life beyond like religion being the main focal point, the main staying power in a country is like, not only is it like as people doing okay, but like they might even be doing better than being oppressed by a dominating religion.
I'm sure there's research on it, but my personal opinion is just look at anywhere that has a large religious population and how they manipulate the policies within that population and what people are allowed to do, the movement they're allowed to, do as well. Like, they want control.
Mhm.
That's what religion is about, telling you how you're allowed to live and how you have to be. A lot of religious people would argue with me, and they have argued with me, but those people personally don't usually do that, which is why they're arguing with me, because they're the ones that are the sheep, you know, following the shepherd, and they don't see it because, they got the wool over their eyes. But yeah, anywhere that has any kind of theocratic control over any kind of policy, or the lobbies pushing for laws to restrict people based off of their beliefs, are a net negative to society.
Right.
Because it's the ironic part about it is that, especially in our country, it's just the best example is the Christian right is constantly saying that LGBTQ people are trying to groom your children and make them gay. But it's like, dog, you take your kids to church from the youngest age possible. You make them do communion, you get them involved in that community so that they grow into adults that worship just the same as you. Like, who is the groomer here?
Right. A lot of I talked to my previous guest, Jimmy Sherfy.
Yeah.
He
Okay.
stated that we don't really want to talk to your kids. We're not trying to groom your children or anything. We really don't want to do anything with them because we're adults and we have
Yeah.
adult things to take
Yeah.
care of. We don't want. A lot of us don't have kids.
We got bills.
Yeah, we got bills to pay.
We got car payments. We don't give a fuck about your kids. TBH, that's your problem, not ours. And, for the people that want to adopt and they want to raise kids and they want to, give their kids a better opportunity than they fucking got, because most of us did grow up in a religious household or somehow oppressive household. They're doing a service to the community, because guess what? They probably didn't have those kids naturally or whatever. They probably adopted those kids, which is giving them a much better fucking opportunity than being in the system. Who, by the way, those kids were made by heterosexual couples who couldn't take care of them, or they were accidents by heterosexual couples. So they end up in the system because guess what? Those families, those heterosexual families fucking failed them. So, I don't really want to hear it from these people. If the nuclear family was the way, then that wouldn't be a problem. If their idea of how to raise kids and how to be together worked out and actually was a function of humanity, then orphanages wouldn't fucking exist.
Right, exactly. So we're not trying to denote or draw away from people who do want to pursue that kind of heteronormative energy, because
Right.
we can coexist. There's no reason that white nationalists and everything puts a target on LGBT people's backs just because we don't follow the exact same line of rhetoric that you do as well. There are certain, like I said with Iceland, and other countries, there are certain states where religion is completely free and thoughts are completely free. We're not controlled, we're not oppressed. This is the kind of, I guess this is the true, trans, what's it called what are conservatives saying about the agenda? The agenda. This is the true queer agenda.
Oh, yeah.
To live
the trans agenda, yeah.
The true queer agenda is to coexist with one another. We're all human first and foremost, and we shouldn't be denoting one another or putting down one another. But as you mentioned, white Christianity, conservative nationalism right now is just as bad as the KKK movements back in the day and other little really right-wing ideologies that just are spatted by nothing but, or spread by nothing but hatred. And a lot of individuals who join these communities, they are also groomed into these kind of communities because they're outcasts, individuals within society, and they latch on to what their ideology is. Oh, this can give me power? Okay, I'm going to take this.
Oh, it's mostly men.
Right. White men.
Yeah, white men. I mean, they have a serious problem with identity right now. They don't know what to do. The world's already been conquered, and that's all white people have ever done is colonize.
Mm,
There's nothing else to colonize.
right, they're colonizing our minds now. They're gonna put Neuralink in us. They're gonna control us.
They've been doing the same tired bullshit for like at least the last 150 years with the same rhetoric, and it's
Hmm.
like people are catching on. Like the age of information was a net positive for people until they realized how they could grift stupid people
Right.
and gaslight people into believing what they say. And that's probably one of the reasons that we're seeing a huge rise in it, especially with AI, where AI is just like super agreeable all the time and will just like confirm your all of your biases no matter what they are.
Right, exactly. I mean, we
Yeah.
got super off topic, but it was a great conversation. I want to go back to your modeling experience and everything. So we
Oh
hear
yeah.
all the time. And I guess we're still kind of talking about like those those individuals. We hear all the time that the boomers are against us, right? From
Yeah.
vocal bigotry spouted through social media to damaging social reform. However, there is this blaringly obvious hypocritic dichotomy from individuals within this generation. These insights come directly from the Hub as part of their contribution to the recent Transgender Day of Visibility. The older people get, the more likely they are to watch trans adult content, with people aged 65 and up, most of whom are men, consuming the majority of this content. What do you make of the contradictory correlation of transphobia and trans fetishism stemming from this demographic?
I've only ever heard of right-wing states like Louisiana and Texas and Georgia, all being like some of the top consumers of transgender content, but I've never heard that it was 60 people 65 and up. But I do have a theory for that, is that I don't think people are meant to be straight.
Oh?
I think that's a sexuality that they're groomed into because of their religion and the necessity to survive for humanity that has been a problem, not really a problem, but like something that humans have had to continually do for our entire history until the modern era, wherein that like childbirth isn't exactly like um a necessity for like a family or a group of people, because like
Right.
used to be you had kids so that you get the free labor out of it, like they'd help you farm, because most people, we lived in serfdom for the longest time. And then like obviously in the south where they actually have farms, that's a big part of it. So I don't think that people are exactly like straight by default, because one of the biggest talking points that they have is that they tell us we're choosing to be gay.
Hmm.
And nobody really chooses to be gay. We choose to be gay. But they only think that we're choosing to be gay because they've chosen to be straight. They have these desires. And the fact that like they can see a woman who is drop dead gorgeous and everything that embodies the femininity that they want to like possess and be able to because I mean, like, let's face it, men are fucking horny.
Hmm.
It's wired into their primary hormone. Like testosterone just makes you horny.
Right.
Like you can't really do much about that except get on estrogen or start taking puberty blockers, so that like, or not puberty blockers, anti-androgens, so that you can actually control your libido. Testosterone makes it hard as to control your libido. So they end up realizing, like in the twilight years of their life, that they want something different than what they've been told they should want their entire life.
Hmm.
And they end up being in the closet about it. In fact, they've probably been in the closet their entire life because, like I said, they chose to be straight.
Right.
They were some range of, queer. They're probably bisexual. I think most people are bisexual. if you give them the Kinsey scale, you give them that test, they're gonna range in some area of bisexual. They're not gonna be straight.
Right. I mean that goes like with me when I was in high school and like kind of like exploring pornography and like understanding that's was like one of my first exposures because like my parents kind of kept me away from trans individuals. Like they didn't let me watch anything with a trans person or trans identity in it. And so my first exposure to it was through pornography, unfortunately.
That's how a lot of people are.
Exactly. It is terrible.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be that way. There should be a lot more, and thankfully there are a lot more pieces of media being developed that do show trans individuals, but obviously we are a small population of the world. I believe is the metric is 1% or something. And it's weird that like so many people choose that 1% to kind of like put
Go
down.
after.
Yeah, go after when there's a different 1% that people should be going after.
There's science to that.
Right.
It's easy to control people when they fear something, and you can unite them against something you can make them afraid of because they don't understand it. You can control them that way. And that's why the right wing of our country has constantly attacked minorities. It's always been attack on minorities, and it's been the same strategy from one minority to the next until people realize they're full of shit. There's nothing wrong with these people, and like we shouldn't segregate people because that's actually really bad for society.
Right, exactly. And unfortunately, like those people who are in power, they have like all the money, all of the everything to be manipulating these individuals. And it's up to people in general to be critical thinkers, but not everyone is a critical thinker, unfortunately. I think a lot of people, they consume what they're told, and a lot of people, and I think it's psychological too, people stay in their bubble and tend not to go out and find the opposition, unfortunately. But like it's up to us, like who are educated, who are critical thinkers, to actually seek out the opposition and seek the actual truths instead of like suppressing other people's opinions that don't really necessarily align with yours. And I feel like if people started doing that more often, they can actually that's why we call it woke, right? We actually wake up to like the shitty things that are going on in life.
Oh, it's from the Matrix.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the right wing kind of like took over with like the red pill kind of shit.
Oh, they tried.
They tried.
You know why it was originally the red pill? Because estrogen tablets used to be red. Now they're blue.
What? No, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, no, The Matrix is a trans allegory.
Yeah.
The whole movie is a trans allegory.
Okay, I've heard about that, but that's cool.
It's funny because they will co-opt things that never belong to them and then whitewash them in order to make it appealing to angry people with no direction.
The word chaser gets thrown around a lot these days. Yet it is a true phenomena. You probably dealt with it yourself. I am of the belief that my ex was a chaser. There are people watching this who are probably chasers themselves.
Hey, shout out to the chasers.
Yeah, shout them out. Look, Sora's links are in the description below.
No, like low-key, I kinda love chasers because like they like what they like and they're gonna go after it.
All right.
You know, and like good for them. Live your truth. Whoever you are. King, queen, you know, monarch, go for it.
Right.
But like don't be fucking weird.
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
the thing. Like I just want people to stop being so fucking weird.
There are a lot of weirdos out there, yeah.
Unless you're paying me good, then be weird. By all means. It's entertaining.
So with chasers, this isn't like a sensationalized aspect of the dating scene either, as people of different sexes, races, body types, etc. have always been fetishized by a subsection of individuals. So how do you tend to handle chasers who attempt communication with you?
It really like, and I get hit up on social media all the time. I get DM requests from people who do fetishize me. I mean, that's kind of the point. But like beyond the fact that like there's a big problem with the parasociality of social media in that, like, people don't realize, or they think that they can circumvent the paywalls. And even after the paywall, they kind of want more from you, and they want to like make it like an actual relationship without like trying to give you what you're owed. If you're going to give them some kind of girlfriend experience, because that does exist.
Mm.
But there's a lot of like there's a lot of entitlement that I think chasers have. They think, since, because I'm into you and you're one of the dregs of society, I'm actually doing you a favor. So then they get entitled to you and entitled to your time, and they, like I said, don't provide any compensation for that. So we don't really appreciate chasers that much, unless they're the kind of chaser that is willing to, pay for the fact that they're probably in the closet, and that they can't live their own truth. They can't live their own life. They don't tell their friends they're like this. They're DL. That's most chasers in general. Except like in heteronormative situations, and then you have to deal with like the fetishizing of this culture or that culture or this body type, and like, I mean, that comes with its own set of like, I mean, bullshit, but like it's kind of the same thing. Like you're only getting fetishized by this person. They don't actually care about what you are, who you are. They're just trying to get their nut.
So there is some harm to that stems from like the chaser disposition from those individuals, because they are like almost dehumanizing the individuals who they're fetishizing, right?
Right. Yeah, no, that's why most of us don't like them, because they are dehumanizing us. In fact, like, I detest sissies. I think they're some of the, like, I don't care if you're a crossdresser, but I fucking hate sissies, because for some reason they think trans women are just like them, because they fetishize. They're literally the definition of like AGP and what people look down on when you say AGP. And for the people that don't know what that is, it means autogynephilia, which is a male person who gets off to seeing themselves pretend or dress up to be a female person. And it's like, it's super fucking transphobic. Like, honestly, just the term in general is usually fucking transphobic. But then you look at sissies, and it's just like, okay, wait, I mean, like, you kind of fucking are this. And they're gay men. They're not straight in any context. Like, even if they do consume trans content, like, those are gay men. They need to deal with that, and being gay and like all of their homosexuality. We're not one of them. I'm not an autogynephile. Like, I appreciate the way that I look, and I personally think I'm beautiful, but no, I don't get off to the idea that like, oh, I'm a woman, I'm like LARPing or something, or like I'm putting on this costume and that's so hot, it's so taboo. It's like, no, I just like am a woman. Like, I wake up like this, I shower like this. The only thing that comes off is the makeup and the cat ears.
Yeah, it's not like a fetish to the majority of people who actually go through like the transition, because it's a huge life decision. It's like our life and everything. We seek this gender affirming care for like a big reason. It's because we don't associate with how we were born.
Because if I literally didn't do this, I wouldn't be alive.
Right, yeah. A lot of people like who fetishize that kind of mentality, they're not doing any kind of service. And there's obviously a big difference between chasing and having a preference to something, because obviously there's a lot of people who have different sexual preferences. But when people like actually go out and like are a chaser and everything, it is like a dehumanizing, fetishistic kind of mentality that does more damage than any good. Something that I did, I brought this kind of question up to my fiance the other day, and they had like a really strong phrase that they mentioned to me, is that women, trans women or otherwise, are a commodity of the adult industry.
Yeah.
In my opinion, those who consume this kind of content without present association of those marginalized groups they fetishize will only ever see them as a commodity. What are ways you would attempt to convince these individuals to engage with others humanly and to go beyond seeing them as mere objects of perverse gratification?
Like, what advice would I give them in order to start, not being a freak?
Yeah, pretty much.
The people that are usually like that are actually, they have an addiction. Like, they're usually like addicted to porn. They can't get away from it, or if they see anything that they're attracted to, they can't control themselves. I would suggest to them to, like, for one, stay away from anyone that, their advice to you is misogynistic. The manosphere preys on those people. The right wing preys on those people because they feel helpless, and it can be debilitating. Like, there are a lot of people out there that really can't do anything but self-pleasure because they're completely, addicted to what they can't get, frankly. I watched some YouTube content actually recently about a guy interviewing a dude that was a gooner and an incel, and there was a couple interviews with the guy. There was a couple different pieces the interviewer did, and one of the things that he did in the interview is have this person meet an actual woman, like, not online, or not somebody he paid for. Like, there's people that will, for money, go out with you, and, like, this isn't, like, not actually like escorting because they're not gonna have sex with you,
Right,
but they're going to give you, rent a girlfriend. You'll get the experience of having a girlfriend and somebody that actually cares for you and, like, is around you. And, like, it's really unfortunate that people need that service because they are, I think they've been ruined by not just social media, but porn itself, and their expectations of other people have been completely destroyed and disfigured into, I don't know, like, something that you wouldn't even recognize as human. It's like, I mean, if you look up, like, memes of gooners and they're like subhuman, like, basement dwellers that, live in darkness, and if you turn the light on or you open the shutters, they'll, like, have to go run under the bed. Like, I mean, that's kind of what these people are like. And most of them are really misogynistic. They resent women. They resent the fact that, like, women are the thing that they can't obtain, even though it's the object of their desire. I would really suggest, like, try being normal. I don't know. There's not really better advice. Like, go find some content with normal people, like, with, like, average personalities, just talking about, like, average and, like, be fucking, like, a regular person, or not even just be a regular person. Find something that you enjoy, find a hobby, grow a personality outside of either gooning or hating women. Like, you need to find value. You need to find, like, a sense of self, really, because these people don't have any sense of self. It, like, goes back to why they're so easily manipulated, and they fall into, like, these really bad rabbit holes, and then they end up in being people that aren't good. Like, they don't have a sense of self. They don't have confidence in themselves. Oh my god, look at fucking Clavicular.
All right.
That dude, he's pretty, but he has zero fucking confidence. And you can tell he has zero fucking confidence because he's constantly trying to make himself fucking perfect. Recently, he did an interview with the YouTube Channel 5. I don't know if you know who Channel 5 and Andrew Callahan is, but they do a lot of, like, on this. They go places, they interview people, they cover current events and stuff. I really like their style because the guy that runs it, Andrew, his interview style isn't really like it doesn't convey an agenda, but he has a way of asking people questions that like make who they are kind of come out. And he recently did an interview with Clavicular,
Hmm.
and he was asking him all these questions, and like Clav was like answering them. I mean, I think pretty genuinely, honestly. He's kind of a weirdo, like, and the dude does crystal meth. So like, I mean, what are we talking about here? But like an hour into the interview, he got extremely perturbed that Andrew wasn't asking him any looks maxing questions. He was asking him about himself and like how he fits into all this stuff and like how he got into it. And he gets like really upset that Andrew's not conducting the interview the way that he thinks that it should be done.
Mhm.
And he ends up asking him like, you know, about his confidence level, because this is the point in which you could tell this man has having his confidence threatened, which is, you know, mogging. He was getting confidence mogged. He asked Andrew, how do you feel about yourself when you wake up in the morning, you look in the mirror? Like, are you okay with yourself? Do you just accept that, like, this is you? And like, does that make you confident? And Andrew's like, yeah, dude, like, I don't think about that stuff. This is just my life, and I move on with my life. And Clav's like, okay, I think we're done here. And gets up and walks out of the interview because like it literally showed off that the people in this community have zero fucking confidence. And a lot of them are incels. That's where looks maxing comes from.
Mhm.
That's the entire idea of looks maxing. So like you go from like I don't know, completely undesirable to something that other people see something good in, or desirable in rather, and they come to you because you have no ability to reach out from yourself because you have no fucking personality or confidence. And I think that's like where these gooners are at too. I think they haven't discovered a part of themselves that they can value, that they can take pride in, that they can really connect with other people over.
I feel like there is a huge gap with individuals, and this is just me kind of spitballing because this is just a thought that came to my head. People are afraid to really explore themselves, and they would latch on to
Yeah.
anything that they deem as something worth grabbing and everything. You know, when I was in like high school and everything, I didn't really know who the heck I was. I didn't have like that self journey that I've had as I have nowadays. And for like
Mhm.
young people nowadays who are like just online all the time, and
Right.
they find this one community and they stick to this bubble, and that's basically like their life, and they never took the time to really have that sense of like self-exploring. um but for
Yeah.
those individuals, as you mentioned earlier, they're easily manipulated because there's like huge individuals who are very manipulative, who are in power, that take advantage of those people. And this is something that's been
Oh, yeah.
systematically pushed by bigoted rhetoric for years and years and years. And unfortunately, like for a lot of people, like Cavicular and other like the incel community, people who like listen to those red pilled like manosphere kind of podcasts, they they don't have that like sense of like self-exploring that like a lot of us have. And like we're confident in who we are, and we're more loving of ourselves because of it. But those individuals, they're bred with hatred almost because they don't have the mental fortitude to actually like try to explore themselves like on a deeper level. They don't have that interpersonal work that a lot of us do.
And I think that's why gay people are so intimidating. Queer people are so intimidating because we looked inward and we saw that the person we are isn't congruent, or the person we want to be isn't congruent with the person we are before we come out of the closet. And like, I mean, I think that's most people's experience when they come out of the closet, is that they live the life that they makes them happy. They want to live as the person that they want to be, especially trans people, you know? And I think it's actually funny too, because I think with the looks maxers, there's a crossover there where they're realizing that who they are and what they are isn't making them happy. So they're going to work on themselves in order to change that, in order to like be who they want. And it's actually like, oh my God, you guys are so fucking close to getting it. Like, we're like right there. You're almost out of the closet. I mean,
Right.
not that they're gay or anything, because
Yeah.
like I said, they chose to be straight, most of them.
It is a parallel between them and like transitioning.
Yeah. Which is why every time, going back to clavicular, he's around trans women, he gets super uncomfortable.
But this kind of like bigoted rhetoric, it works like not only with like those individuals, incels, if we're going to call them that, gooners, what have you. It's been a thing with Christian nationalism as well. It's these things that like
Oh
we
yeah.
see these people are in power. These people are like, the big thing right now, because looks maxing, everyone wants to be the Chad and everything. That really cool like the photo set that one dude did. It's freaking awesome. Those people want to be like that guy. But they're not taking the time in finding out who they are, where they belong in society, and they're not loving it themselves. And I'm like, we laugh about that kind of behavior and everything, but it's just sad, really. It's not even like, oh, this is just like a funny thing to like mock and everything. It's really a behavior that should be like sympathized, because these people, they're
nurtured.
not going out of their way like we have before. Like, imagine, I watched this movie, what's it called?
Describe it. I probably know it.
This kid, he watched a TV show.
TV Glow.
Yes, I saw the TV Glow. Thank you. I saw the TV Glow. It was a fantastic film. And like in the end, like the individual, spoilers by the way, the individual, they never
the
come
last 10
out.
minutes are fucking.
I know. I know. My God. Some people didn't understand it, but it's like if you're trans, you would like latch onto that idea like immediately. Like, imagine like if you've never transitioned. Imagine if I never like came out.
Oh, I've shown that movie to so many people that needed to come out.
It's a horrible like thought. Like this, he lifts up his shirt and like it's just this void inside, and that is such a powerful image, because like this is how these people feel. This is how they literally feel, because they don't know who they are. They haven't explored themselves, and it's one of the saddest like things that I can think of, is like people who don't really know themselves and never grow to love themselves. And that's why like people who get to a certain age, like the boomer generation, they're filled with so much hatred and bigotry towards people who they probably could have been. Who knows?
Yeah, and they probably are too.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why they hate them so much. I mean, like, I've heard people that never come out say things that are just like, okay, dude, like, you need to look inside yourself a little bit, because the things you're saying have a lot more meaning than what you think. Like, when they say, when men say, supposedly straight cis men say, women have it so much easier. If I could have just been a woman, I would be a woman. And it's like, there's a big part of that where they're only seeing the sides of it where they don't have to be men. And that part of it where they have to face the part where they don't want to be men, or they could have had it better if they weren't men. It's very it's very indicative of being trans. Like, if you think your life would have been better as a woman than a man because of the benefits you think you'd receive, it's only because you don't really align with the set of skills, so to speak, that you've been given, in your birth.
The mentality of those individuals, there's a real disconnect because if you if you
Yeah,
know that you are a woman and everything, if you are born a woman, if you transition into
yeah,
your true authentic self and everything, it's freaking obvious like how
yeah.
they don't have it easy. Women do not have it easy.
No. We have it way worse. Like, they don't
Right.
understand their privilege. They think that since they've experienced this privilege their entire life, that, like, it doesn't mean anything. It doesn't exist because the expectations that they've had,
Mhm.
they've never lived as a woman, so they don't know what the expectations are of being a woman and what the patriarchal society that we live in expects of women and how much work we have to put in ourselves just to be called women,
Right.
just to be seen as women. And that's even harder for people of color. Like, there's a whole intersectionality of that.
Yeah.
um but, like, dudes will literally think because of their expectations that it's easier to be a woman, and, like, that's kind of an internal thing where they think if they could handle being a woman better than being a man, then I think there's some gender identity issues there.
For us who have like gone through like transitional periods and everything, and I myself am not done yet.
I don't think anyone's ever done.
Right, exactly. We're always exploring ourselves, and that's good. That's what human beings should be doing. We have the mental capability of doing that. We should take advantage of it. Individuals who don't pursue that, like, yeah, it's really hard, but I'd rather be me than not me. And
Mhm.
that's like what I guess the egg cracking culture like kind of stems from.
Oh, yeah, no, some people need their eggs cracked. It can't be a forceful thing, but, like,
Yeah.
you gotta give them a push because they won't get there on their own.
What really needs to happen is more societal acceptance of trans individuals. I feel like more people would be coming out if it was more accepting. I don't condone the egg cracking culture forcing it onto
Right,
people. But there are plenty of ways to like showcase. Like a lot of us have like
yeah,
discovered ourselves through media. I know a lot of trans
yeah.
people who like gone and like, oh, Rama one half. I really liked it. Like when the guy transitioned to a girl, and I'm like, oh my god, that cracked my
Mhm.
egg and everything. And it's like that's the steps in the right direction to like
Right,
showcase that like, maybe you're not who you are like physically. Like if you wanted to take those steps into pursuing like your genuine authenticity, it's going to be hard, but
right.
it's better to do that than not do it at all.
Yeah, and I think it would be easier if our society wasn't so heterocentric,
Mhm.
because when we do have sex education in our schools, in the states that do have it, for that matter, and, the people that are allowed to go into it, I mean, for one thing, I think it should be fucking mandatory. I
Mhm.
think everybody should have to learn about their bodies. It's like the conservatives say, "It's basic biology," you know? Um, you should learn, like, what things do, like, the overall impact of how they can affect people and how to navigate that, in a way. And I think also, since, sexuality and gender are very, very connected, I think that being taught about other walks of life other than just heterosexuality should be a big part in our education getting brought up. And part of the problem with that is that, like, a lot of these red states, keep pushing for book bans and literally just knowledge bans in general. Like, oh, don't say gay, don't talk about trans people, stop, stay away from our kids. But it's like, like I said, it's totally fine to groom them into the church and groom them into being heterosexual. Because, like, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're trying to keep people from that kind of knowledge about themselves because it is perfectly natural, all of the science, all of the studies suggest that it is natural to be transgender or queer or like any walk of that. That needs to be covered. That needs to be something people are educated with. So like the egg cracking can happen when they realize that, oh, this is what I am, because they're able to self-discover themselves without feeling some kind of fucking shame for it.
Hmm.
That I don't think egg cracking culture would exist. I mean, if you want to call it that, really. I mean, there's a bunch of people that try to crack each other's eggs, but like that kind of wouldn't exist if people could just be who they are naturally, and if they had the knowledge of being it. Like, I didn't even know about trans people until like very shortly before I transitioned personally. I didn't know that trans people underwent surgery. I didn't know trans people underwent gender affirming care. I thought that people that were trans were born this way.
Mm.
I had no fucking idea for, the majority of my life, because it was never something that I was educated on, and it was never something that I was encouraged to go find out about. It was something that, thanks to streaming, and I had a very large queer audience, I was able to talk to people about it, and I was able to find myself in the people that I was around, and I was like, "Wait a minute. Why do I connect so well with these people, and why do they keep calling me an egg? What does that mean?" The egg cracking again.
Yeah, there's a kind of like a reason why more educated individuals are in blue states rather than red states, is because they do control a lot of the information, and it's really like a glaring issue that like information is trying to be controlled in a macro level with the internet and everything right now. And that's why
Right.
I've been like getting into like Linux and everything, is because like so many of these big tech companies
God.
are trying to um keep us from like real information and keeping us in controllable bubbles and everything, and it's not good. It's not good. It's literally fascism. It's literally fascism, like
Yeah.
information control and everything.
It's what the Reich did in World War II. They censored information, they burned books, they burned libraries. They said they used fear to control people, and they said that you're anti-German if you're like that. I mean, America just did that.
Hmm.
They want to put you on a list if you're anti-capitalist, if you're against ICE, if you're against Israel, if you're promoting any kind of gender or queer ideology, which is literally just being openly queer in any space, period.
Hmm.
Like, that's as far as it goes. And like, these are the kind of laws that existed in America for a long time, actually, before we saw a renaissance, we saw a rollback of a lot of, anti-gay laws that were prevalent in our existence. I mean, for the longest time, like, we weren't allowed to be seen in public. I mean, that's why like club scenes became a thing. Like, it was the marginalized groups that got pushed to the fringe of society. I mean, it started mostly with the segregation of Black people. Like, most alternative culture, actually, I'm sorry, all alternative culture literally comes from Black movements.
Hmm.
And it's like the first people that got pushed from society besides the Native Americans, were Black people.
Right.
So they had to find their own places, they had to find their own spaces. And with that came queer people, because we needed spaces, we needed a place that we were accepted, because we were pushed to the fringe of our society.
Also, like political ideologies that don't conform to what is like the norm, like anarchism. That's where like the punk rock movement started from. And like
Right.
a lot of these alternative spaces are kind of against the people in power, unfortunately, and like those individuals who are as you mentioned earlier, like really right-wing conservative individuals who are moving into the goth scenes and everything. And I've even seen that in the punk rock scene too.
They're so fucking corny, dude. It's so funny.
I know. It's insane to me. They don't understand like the history of it. They see the aesthetic and they're like, that's kind of cool. Can I do that too? It's like,
I want to bang. That's where their head's at.
it's complete grifting. It's completely like against what like the culture is there for, and it sucks. Like it's uprooting it, and like at least they're attempting to uproot that and make it completely something else. And I mean, I guess that's what Christianity did with what was it called, like Yule and stuff.
Yeah,
like Christmas.
Oh yeah, they
and,
co-opted
like,
it. They stole it. They
Yeah.
You know, it was a way to like indoctrinate different cultures. Oh, you've got a holiday? You know, we've got the same thing, you know? It's like the same thing.
It's not.
That's where the fucking Easter bunny comes from.
Right.
Why do you think Easter has the fucking bunny? Like, case in point, Festival of Lights. I mean, like, it was the fucking Christmas was never about like it was everything. It was like the last feast you'd have of the year because everything's dead. Like, it's wintertime. You can't grow crops. You can't farm. And a lot of people end up dying. So you have a celebration with all of them before, you know, the spring, and hopefully you see either new life or you get to enjoy the life you have.
It's crazy to me that like paganism and everything is so looked down on and everything, because like Christianity back in the day, it was utilized as like a movement for control in particular.
Yeah.
And they painted pagans as like devil worshippers and everything, and like a lot of them didn't even know what the heck that these people were talking about.
Oh yeah,
honestly.
they didn't even read the same language.
They had their own, they had their own traditions and everything that they were celebrating because it was based on like their own struggles and everything, their own identities and everything, and it was completely uprooted by like
white Anglo-Saxon Protestants.
It's all the same. It's all the same. History just repeats itself. It's same thing, different name. And this was like probably the most depressing episode.
I don't think it was depressing. I think it was very informative.
I got a little depressed, man. I'm just like it is informative, yes, but like I like to try to like keep it positive on this show, but like it's good to like know about this stuff. And like thank you so much for like sharing this stuff too.
No problem.
So do you have any advice for people like us who want to pursue adult modeling?
Pursue social media following. I think you should pursue social media way harder than you should try and pursue just making adult content in general, because there's no actual money in adult content. You need to become some kind of success on social media to even get a push. If you want to get into like studio work and once again, you need a social media following because you need to be marketable. It all comes down to marketing. Marketing is way more important than actually, you know, having sex on camera. That's always my advice. People ask me a lot, and like they ask me for like aesthetic advice, and I'm just like, that's up to you. You know, find yourself that you want to sell, and like use advertising for that.
Yeah, solid advice. Thank you so much for that. But that about wraps up all my questions. Thank you so much for being a part of the show again. Remind everyone where they can find you.
All my socials are on, I think in the links. I use Instagram a lot more than Twitter these days. My Instagram is Sora2, which is TOO. My old Instagram got banned because who fucking knows? They don't actually ever tell you. So that's my new one. If I ever get my old account back, it would just be Sora Blackheart.
All right, thank you so much again. Please go check her out in the link in the description below. Show her all the love and support. This has been Cutiespectives. I'm Jasmine Page, and I will see you all with another very special guest next month. Until then, take care of yourselves and have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to share your perspectives down in the comments below and let me know who you'd like to see in a future video. See you next time!